What's up, guys? Okay, so this video today is sponsored by Yukon Gear and Axle. I got 538 gears for both my axles, and today I'm going to be installing them in my rear 10 1/4. And then I also have a Dura Grip in there that I installed a year ago, so I'm keeping that and just putting it in a new ring and pinion. Okay, so here I'm just taking my axle shafts out, so they will be disengaged from my limited slip, and then that way I can take that out and then take the ring and pinion out and then put everything back. It's coming loose, I can feel it.
Now it's loose. Then let that, all the gear oil out of that drain into the pan. Just tilt it down here. Then we're gonna let that thing sit for a while, so we're not totally getting messy. I'm gonna grab a couple rags to put in your wheels because the axles will leak just a little bit. You ain't want to get something on gear oil on the dang Christian rams.
Okay, so now I'm just going to take off the old gasket. We just used a gasket sealer. But now that we got the kit from Yukon, we're just going to use a paper one. So I'm just cleaning all that up so it'll be ready to put the diff back on once we get everything back together. Now I'm just going in and taking off the carrier bolts, which hold in the ring and pinion as well as the limited slip.
open this, we're looking for those bolts and those bolts, I believe. Whichever one's right into this. Don't need that. We're going to use these old ones because they're brand new. You can keep them as spares just in case, but that's these ones that are pressed on here, but they're brand new. We pressed them onto this already. And they look brand new in there too.
Well, what am I doing?
Need those bolts for this. I just want to make sure that these are the bolts for this. Should be reverse thread. I swore these were reversed. But how many of those we got? We got those, we did these, and those, I think. Which will be all of these.
So right now I'm just putting Loctite on all the new ring gear bolts. I just need like some cutters.
Yeah, here I got you.
No, hold on.
Or the razor blades right there.
Yeah. They'll heat this up in an oven.
Mm-hmm. You just put it in the oven.
And put this in
20 minutes.
the freezer.
Yeah, leave that in the freezer overnight because the heat, or as it cools, it'll get smaller.
Oh yeah.
And then as this heats, it'll get bigger, so it'll just slide right on. We're gonna try it with just heating this up, which I think will be fine. I think that's what we did last time.
I don't remember heating it up last time.
We might have tapped it on,
Or
but
pressed it.
yeah, we wouldn't have pressed it. We would have either tapped it on or sucked it up with the bolts, which you don't really want to do. The best way is to have it already flush, and then put your bolts in it. So. Just sit it down. Square, yep. Look at that, look at that. It's gonna be close. So, yeah, just gotta drop the bolt in.
Sure.
No. Do them by hand. They're not centered, hold up. Yeah, see now this thing's already pressed on there.
Sorry, my leg is in the way. It's just really hard to find a good spot for the camera. It's down, so if you can line it up on your side.
Pretty well lined up. Maybe a little bit off that way. It's hard to line these things up.
I mean, yeah, it's like slightly.
Right there. Use the impact. I'm gonna get them all in.
I don't know, it's not, they're not going in for me.
Okay, I'll just give it here. That one in. That one's in. That one's in.
Where's...
Missing one. New one.
What?
It's around here somewhere.
Maybe it's this one.
And then go grab.
Loose, like hand tight.
Just don't be reefing on it. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. Just stop. So just kind of run them down a little bit. That's all we're looking for, just to make sure that they're in there.
Rotate? Star pattern?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. We're not sucking them up right now, so it's not too critical. We're just making sure that they're in the right thread patterns to see if, yeah, exactly. Well, I've done some of those, but yeah. And the ones we question we'll take out and just double check them. But if they run down fine, then we're fine. Like beating that. You gotta get snacks in the garage fridge now, huh?
What's... We do? What are they?
Oh, cheese and crackers.
Oh, yeah. Aunt Sue's coming over tomorrow for dinner.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, we're having paella. Okay, so some don't set down like the others do.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't spin them anymore then.
So these are the shims we're gonna use. They go in there and in there on either side of the posi. And the shims will help us determine how tight the gear mesh is. So yeah.
As you see here, got her all set up. We're gonna press on the bearing onto the pinion. Got our shims in here, ready to rock.
So we're using a press at Dane's work. I'm grateful that we were able to find press. And we're actually using a bearing puller, but we're using it in the opposite way to press it on. But yeah, it was really crowded where the press was, so it's just Dane back there doing it.
Yeah. That looked like a charm. Alright, you are good. Just hold it there for me, please. I'll throw this little splash seal on there. Boom, bang. And then we will throw the new seal in. Hammer. Okay, almost done. Do we have a bigger hammer? No, we don't. No, this.
What about the second crush washer?
I hope you just put one in there, right?
There's two.
I only need one.
Okay.
They give you two so that you can set up the axle. But we already know exactly what we need. Alright, brand new seal in. And I will put the yoke on. Let me clean it up a little bit real quick. Yoke onto the pinion. So I didn't want to beat it on with a hammer. And it looks like that's what it's doing. Yeah. Almost there.
This was honestly the hardest part, was putting the pinion back into the axle housing and tightening it. So I'm grateful that I had Dane's muscles to do all the work for me. It's just like a lot of heavy lifting, and same with putting the posi back in is super heavy, so he's the one that lifts it for me. But yeah, I'm also just cleaning up the diff case a little bit more, just to get ready to put everything back together.
Quarter turn on the top. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so we're almost good. The only thing we got to check now is how much this is turning, or how much weight pressure this takes to turn. Because you want to preload the bearing. That's what it's called. And I'll explain that to you right now real quick. So imagine we have this bearing right here. Obviously these are aren't the same bearing, but it's a similar thing. So imagine your pinions going through these. You have one on the front and one on the back. You have to squish these so you're tightening that nut, which is sucking the pinion that way, and basically pushing this bearing against this bearing in between the housing. So you want preload on these bearings, and I gotta look up the exact spec on how much preload it is. But that's what the crush washer, do you have your crush washer? That's what your crush washer is doing. So this one here is on the housing, this one's on the pinion going into the housing. They're both on the pinion, both on the housing as well. But this crush washer sits here, and this here will slowly compress as you tighten it down until you get these bearings what's called preload on them, which is basically pressure on them. And last time we did it, I believe it's like 8 inch-pounds or 8 foot-pounds, I can't remember, that you want that pinion to be spinning at. So you get a torque wrench, and obviously on the other side, but you spin this and you want resistance against it. You don't want it to be sloppy loose and just free spinning. You want it already has some right now. I just don't know how much it has. But like I said, I gotta look it up, the spec, but I believe last time we did it was like 8 foot-pounds or inch-pounds, I can't remember. But once we get that, we'll just get it on your torque wrench and basically just spin it, and once we get there, then we're good. But otherwise, you tighten that nut until you have the proper preload. Which, that's why it doesn't have a torque spec on that front yoke nut. It's not like torque it to 150 foot-pounds and it's the same. It's different for every single one, varying on the bearings themselves. So the torque range can vary from, like I said, like 100 foot-pounds all the way up. I've seen people torquing like 350 foot-pounds to get the right amount of preload. So right now, we'll just look it up. I'm sure it probably says somewhere in a book on your Yukon stuff, but I'll just look up what the factory preload should be, and that'll be close enough. According to Yukon, your axle pinion preload is 20 to 35 inches.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, yeah.
Okay.
It says new 20 to 35, used 6 to 8.
Yep, that's what I'm reading too. So we have new bearings. So now we need to go see if you have an inch-pound. Just put inch-pounds. So I want to use this. I just got to figure out how. I know what I'll do. We'll figure it out. I just need an 8 mil. 8 mil, 3/8, short one. So 8 mil. So this isn't 100% accurate, but this is going to be damn near close because I don't have an inch-pound, half-inch drive wrench, torque wrench. But right here, it'll have a little more leverage, but it'll at least get us in the ballpark. Are these even 8 mil? Get out there. Second. Okay, now we can measure. Let's roughly measure. Yeah, we're at like 8. We need Mo. Oh, cranking. Do you also want to grab me?
Yeah, 95. What if it's used 80?
Okay. Sort of new. Guess I gotta set it with a phone, get the phone no good. hide away, hide away. It was working so good before. Go. There we go. Okay. Check that. Spin it a couple times. I think that's a beauty though. That's feeling more like it. Okay, now let me check. Okay, we're at 20. What does it say it's supposed to be at?
20 to 35.
We can go a little bit more. Let's see, they're new bearings, so... I don't know. What do you think? It's at 20.
How hard to do 5 more?
It's hard to... I mean, it's not that it's hard to say... I can't just tighten and go, oh, that was 5. It could be 5, it could be 15. It's not like I have a good measurement. But right now it feels good. Like there's no play in it and it has preload. So I think we just leave it right here. It's on the looser end, but you're not going to be driving it too much on the road anyways. I think we're fine. I can go a little bit more. Let's do another 1/16 of a turn, see what that does. The only shitty thing is you don't want to go too much because the crush washer crushes. It doesn't expand again.
Yeah, no, I know.
You crush it too much, then you got to start all over again. So we'll go just a wee.
With that.
No. A little heavy, but I think she's fine. Like
What?
I said,
What is it at?
it's at 30. I don't know. It's hard to measure because if you look at that, it only goes. The first hash is 25, and then you have 50, and it's between 25 and 50. So it it's on the. It's like right in the middle. So what would that be? 38.
I can't spin it. How do you spin it?
Just grabbing it.
I'm just grabbing it. Wait, stop.
You can't grab it from that side.
Oh.
There's lots of leverage on this side.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I had to switch cameras, but now we're just putting the shims back in, and we just used a little bit of axle bearing grease just to help them stay in there, but they stayed pretty good, and now we're just gonna put the posi back in and tighten everything back up.
So we're gonna add one more thin shim on this side, right? Hold that.
Do you want grease on it?
Nope. I'm gonna take this out, and you're just gonna put it in there, and then I'm going right back in. And slide it in.
This one's just...
Yeah, there's no bent like that one.
Oh shit. I mean, it has a bend in it.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's... Yeah. Wedged in there like a wedged in there. Take that bearing out, take that, and put them in between the thick one.
But see...
Good. Hold on. Good. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Okay. Now we do this bottom one.
Bottom left.
Yeah.
And then top right. And then do that.
Wait. And then top right?
Top right, yep.
It's hard keeping it straight.
You wanted it, yeah, you want it as straight as possible.
Okay.
So what I always do is go double check them, because it'll sit itself in a little bit. And then one more thing, what I always do is double click it. You're good, it clicked already. What I do is double click it, and that's, I don't know, I've just seen, that's how people do it, they go like this.
How much paint?
It doesn't matter, you don't have to clean it off or anything, so just put as much as you want on there and cover the whole gear inside, outside. Just the more paint the better, it'll leave a better mark. And then do it like, yeah, like I said, at least 3 gears. And then we just spin it and see how she looks. It's like arts and crafts. Yeah, go ahead and actually do 4. One more, and then that should be plenty fine.
What if you like misread the directions and you like Just painted.
Painted the whole thing. It said to paint it.
Enough paint.
It said to paint it. I don't know what you do. Why it needs to be
ugly color.
I don't know why it needs to be yellow. I'll use some of that as touch up on the yellow truck out there.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Is that enough?
It's about the same color. Let's take a look. Oh, beauty! Yeah, that's exactly what you want. And then
That's like
kind of.
in that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. This is reverse, so this goes one way, and then we'll go the same thing the other way. That should be enough. Go back to the painted part. And see what we got. You can't see shit. You got a flashlight? Look at here. Look what we have here.
Okay, so Yukon says it calls for 3.5 to 3/4 to 3.5 quarts of gear oil, and it's 80/90. Plus, it also calls for the limited slip lubricant. And I do have like half left in this one, which is gonna be perfect. And then if you do have trouble getting your gear oil into your diff, I have used these pumps in the past. It just like screws right onto the bottle, which is super convenient. But we're gonna try not to use it because it's super messy. But
I just cut just the tip of it off like that, right in between that first line, and yeah, like right there. Watch your eyes.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Alright, so pretty much get that thing as far in as you can and keep it downward at an angle.
Whoa.
I mean, obviously, but like, you know, keep it as far down as you can with, I don't know, you'll get it. It's gonna take a while because the hole is small out of the bottle, so.
Thick.
Yeah, real thick boy.
Thick.
Damn boy. That's a thick boy.
1 hour later. What's the GL5 mean?
Good looking number 5.
Number 5?
Yeah, I don't know what GL5 is.
Gear lubricant.
Gear lubricant.
5?
5 times better than anything else. 5 times thicker than motor oil. I don't know.
Thicker than a Snickers.
Hey, don't pooping. It's gonna go on YouTube.
I'm getting my money's worth. But
And so you're good. I'd go to open the other one, and then what I normally do is,
combine them.
yep, and then put it back in again. Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass, but